Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Swan Princess movie. I'm so sorry that we're throwing all these at you at once.
It's almost done, folks. It's almost done. It's like that moment where you're so close to the end, and yet you're still having one movie before that.
And today we're doing Kingdom of Music, which, considering the track record of the songs in these movies, that sounds terrible. But anyway, to tie this back to our previous commentary, I did buy Taco Bell today.
How dashing.
There we go.
All right.
So, as you may recall, Swan Princess 6 was the waste of a perfectly good pirate movie. Swan Princess 7 was the waste of a perfectly good spy movie. Swan Princess 8 was the desecrated waste of a Zorro movie, seriously. Among other things. But, to be fair, 7 and 8 were technically steps up, improvements. And yet, Swan Princess 8 may have been the most devastated I've heard Pedro in regards to the Swan Princess franchise. I'll admit, it is kind of dashing and valiant to see him trying to pretty much protect what little integrity this franchise had to begin with.
Well, since Richard won't, I guess it's up to me then. Like, you're not even gonna try, I guess I'll do it for you then.
Alright, so where should we start, Shiroi?
At the Sony Wonder logo, and that's still sad to say, considering what follows.
I wonder what joke Shiro can come up with this time. Maybe not.
Something funnier than us.
I wonder, how long is this going to go on?
Shut up, Sonic. Take us away, Shiro.
It will go on longer if we don't start. So anyway, 3, 2, 1, click.
You know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Richard Rich was never the same after Black Cauldron. Like, what did that movie do to you, man?
I guess Jeffrey Katzenberg, destroyed his psyche with the editing? I don't know.
Honestly, no. If anything, maybe he was just driven insane by the fact that Jeffrey Katzenberg was right about that movie.
Also, this music definitely sounds different, Pedro.
Yeah.
That's because from what I have to check, this is the first
God,
of the last two movies that tries to
good again.
appease a bit more to the Chinese market. Yeah, there we go. The Kingdom of the Katai Empire.
Hey Dej, you like to talk about trends. Well, here's a trend that we're going right down with right from the beginning.
I am. God, I wish I could say it, but I can't.
Well, at least we're not doing the very stereotypical, Chinese music. So there is that.
Anyway, but Shiroi, to address what you were suggesting earlier, though, honestly, if anything, the songs have been fine at worst since, movie 7.
So, yeah, we start this movie in China's Batcave.
I guess. I also checked IMDb before, and I can assure you, all the characters who are supposed to represent, Chinese people in here are actually voice acted by actual, Chinese voice actor and actresses. So it's legit on that.
Credit to Richard Rich. Credit to Richard Rich for being ahead of the curve.
Also, wow, this animation...
I had not so much to do with this was 2019.
Yeah, that's why I said ahead of the curve. It wasn't until the following year when that particular casting thing was starting to go down.
I argue it was already done for a couple of years at this point.
It was kind of already in the vogue, honestly.
All right.
That said, I guess I'll give him credit. The animation does not look bad so far. Even the flames look fine.
Ouch.
Even though some of them are moving at a very odd frame rate, but I digress. Or can they?
Oh, that's right. This is a Swan Princess movie.
Also, I guess Swan Princess is just Odette's official title now.
I love how, for whatever reason, everywhere Odette is always primary identity.
Milan, is that you?
Yeah, Odette's primary identity to everybody else, it seems, is just the Swan Princess. That's what she's mostly known for.
I guess considering what happened with Rod part, it makes sense because... Oh!
Whoa!
Look, I know that the Chinese dragons tends to have, because of their mythology, sometimes these more human-like faces, but there's a bit of an uncanny valley factor here.
You're going to explain. Hold on.
She's in love with a dragon. Or unless he's cursed to become a dragon until the sunset,
Well, I mean, Fire Emblem Fates, Jova.
Hold on.
Yeah, but
hold on.
Even before and
I wonder if it's something similar to Odette's curse in the first movie, where he only becomes human during the sunset or sunrise.
Yeah, very good, Jova. You got it.
Oh,
they're kind of taking inspiration from Lady Hawk of sorts.
Yeah, I remember that movie as well. But you know what this means, Pedro?
What?
We literally now have a bootleg Chinese Swan Princess.
So wait. Wait, hold on. Does she turn into something when it's night, or
I don't think so. Again,
no. It's only the guy.
Lady Hawk work both ways, like I guess you were about to suggest.
Pretty much why I asked, because Pedro said that this is essentially Lady Hawk, so I assumed that meant that she's going to turn into something then at night.
If I remember correctly, that movie had Matthew Broderick, but he was like, 12?
And yes, guys, we're doing the we can't be together because I'm royalty and you're a peasant storyline.
And also, the fact that he's cursed to turn into a dragon. That's apparently also a bit of a bummer. So yeah,
guess what? Meili's plan is to go to the Swan Princess Kingdom and ask her how she was able to escape from her swan form.
Okay.
To see if they can help with the dragon bit.
I guess that's not a terrible plan.
So yeah, basically...
Oh, you liar! Unless she's into polygamy.
Yeah. No.
They're twins, Jova.
They're twins. But,
even better!
Okay.
That's contrary to what the internet might told you, twincest is not wincest.
So the idea is that she, of course, wants to go there for the reasons that I've already explained, whereas he, of course, being the future king, is going to go there to, public relations shit. And he's going to be also participating in the music festival itself.
Ah! God! The flowers are in my eyes! It's a wondrous look of cherry blossom blinding me!
Showing that little extra...
The magnificent kingdom of San Francisco.
I'm guessing...
Hello? Who invited the Enchantress in here?
Hold on, guys. Let's say... Hold on, guys.
Right.
Let's let him finish.
Rude.
Which is so rude.
So there you go. Turns out it was actual. Turns out the father is behind this something. Let's see what it is.
I mean, hell, at least we have the excuse of we somehow faster internet speeds than others.
That seems very dangerous to do there, May. Firing off a firework in the middle of town. She's lucky that didn't cause any damage.
Also, these people are easily impressed.
Never mind that, Jover. In the middle of the day, such a waste. You're barely going to see any of it.
Also, what was the point of
the guard did not see her do this.
Also, what was the point of her distracting the people in town? Like, she was already in disguise.
You see, Teo, in bad movies, whenever the plot needs the characters to not have peripheral vision, they shall not have peripheral vision.
Peripheral vision is for the weak.
I mean, he still managed to note her at the very least, but there was a weird moment, though.
Well, shit. What now?
Yes, I remember that move from Mulan, too.
As in Mulan, the number 2, or
no.
2 as in... Yeah, I did that too.
Yeah, as in the latter.
That fire does not look good.
Yeah,
because the last thing I need is another Mulan.
I forgot his name. Did Mr. Dragon Dude just burn somebody?
Yes, very uncanny valley effect. Also,
So they were incinerated.
This intro is still going. Usually the intros take 4 minutes.
There you go, guys. The Swan Princess Music Festival. So did Odette literally call that the Swan Princess? Shows okay. Considering the experience of being turned into a swan was kinda probably traumatic for her. You'd think she would not be comfortable with being known as the Swan Princess, but I guess she really got over that trauma amazingly.
Okay. To be fair, she's had several movies to do that. And let's not forget the fact that she kind of willingly turned herself back into a swan in movie 2 anyways, so I don't find it too much of a hard buy that she's alright with being called the Swan Princess. No. My issue is, when did she take that on as an official title, though?
And now, almost practically 9 minutes in, we have the title.
It's like this film was trying to compete with The World Is Not Enough for world's longest film intro before a title sequence comes in. Unfortunately, it falls short by about 6 minutes.
Oh, I was wondering, isn't there like a Bond movie where they want to have the gimmick where the title appears at the very end?
No.
Okay.
Not that I know of it. Not that I can remember, anyway.
Guess what, guys? From movie 8 to this one, we have a time skip.
Ooh.
Neat.
Oh. How long is the time skip?
They don't say the exact number of years, but you can tell it's a few. And for whatever reason,
she's still old. I mean, wow.
And of course, Hubert and Chamberlain still look exactly the same because updating their models would require
Sable Rogers. Count Widuberta. Boop. Yay.
Yay.
Oh yeah, Scully.
Yeah, Scully's statue.
They really are getting a lot of mileage out of,
There you go. These are the foreigner musicians / singers that have come to participate in the festival.
I love how they're not buying the fact that an animal could walk and talk.
Oh. I guess this was a bit of a lamp shading.
I guess they're just in the magical kingdom. Although, hey, guys, maybe we could easily prove that animals walk and talk if we had, one of the many scullions who are supposedly the new castle guards.
Yeah, what the hell happened to them?
Oh my god, guys, it's the theater from Swan Princess 4.
We just had to call them. There we are, Joe.
So... Okay, there you go. Animals talk. Just like that. Boom, bang.
It really is an interesting thing where, whatever.
So let me get this straight. We established that these guys don't have talking animals in their kingdom, but when they finally do see the talking animals, they don't even react to them. Like, what was even the point?
I guess they did not want to have voice actors for them.
It's interesting because...
Yes, Pedro?
I can at the very least respect the Care Bears for having that logic be super consistent. Like the characters don't even blink at the fact that there are talking bears who can do magic. At least it's stupid, but at least it's consistent. In here, it's inconsistent. So you think it's strange that there are talking animals, and yet you see them here and you don't even blink at them. Maybe we shouldn't have fired all of our human servants and guards. Just a thought.
Wow.
I guess to be fair, it wasn't established that they did that, but honestly,
I wonder who this silhouette is.
All right, and here we go, everybody. We skipped like a handful of years or something. Now Elise is fully grown up.
Oh my god! Like they actually did what Alpha and Omega couldn't do. They grew up the child characters.
Congratulations, Richard. Congrats. Okay, is it just me? Okay, I don't care for Lucas's adult model.
This looks cursed. This looks like discount Barbie.
No. Elise looks fine, but adult Lucas, he doesn't look even remotely anything like Lucas. It looks like you could have, like, if they tried to sell me this guy as a new character, I would have believed it because. Okay, usually in animation, when you try to do an adult version of a character, you use the child version as a base to properly show, oh yeah, it looks like the same character, just grown up. But Lucas's adult model doesn't even remote, like his face structure, his overall, even his eyes changed shape completely.
Okay. Well, don't skeletons slightly change their shape as you get older?
Yeah,
I know. That's in real life, yes, but usually that's not how it works in animation, though.
I mean, usually, I'm not really too annoyed by it, seeing as how I've seen plenty of people change drastically when they grow up, so, Oh, okay, I'll give them this. At least they waited until they were of age before they started, properly shipping these two, so, kudos, Rich.
There's one here. There's one here. Wow.
Boys will be boys, I guess.
She's thirsty, isn't she?
With puberty comes exploration of new things.
No, definitely. I'm not against that.
Also, sorry, go on.
Trust me, Jova. This is something that I've brought up before. But personally, I would. I'm a firm defender of more representation of horny girls in media, like as in girls who are interested in sex. More like, I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, as opposed to trying to pretend that they're the pure ones always.
Yeah. I cannot. To be perfectly honest with you,
you like the Canker sisters from Ed and Eddie then?
Yes, actually. Perfect. It's one of those cases, Joe, where I'm tired of that archetype. Yeah, I'm tired of it, to be honest with you.
Oh, trust me, I absolutely agree.
Also, does this mean? Speaking of which.
Crash landing.
This is the bantering. Okay.
Also, does this mean that number 9 has died of old age at this point? Oh, Jesus.
Not sure.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I think Vanessa wouldn't like it if in the middle of some kind of romantic moment I suddenly go, by the way, you have something on your teeth. Like, I just... that just breaks the mood, doesn't it?
It's one of the most common misunderstandings you see in media here. Girl is constantly hitting on man, but then man goes, oh, do you have something stuck in your teeth?
Sometimes stuttering, yes.
Sure, a question.
Yeah?
Yeah, like if Alice started talking to you very tenderly, like even maybe putting your hand on your face or something like that, and then all of a sudden, hey, by the way, you got something on your teeth. How would your reaction be?
That would be so bloody awkward.
Yeah, I know, right?
Also, yes, Odette and Dereck have not also aged at all in their models.
Yeah, and this is I'll mention it after this. And look at that. Looks like Elise is the...
Oh, please. We're not doing this.
Yes, we're doing this.
Oh.
That being said, Tail, I do like his reaction, though, here. I actually do like his reaction here. Hold on. All right, that's not a bad way to put it. There you go.
Yeah, no.
Nice.
Okay. I mean, look, obvious Swan Princess's centrices aside, we're not off to a bad start with this movie.
Oh no, I was fearing we were gonna have like a love triangle where Elise starts getting infatuated by the dashing Prince Lee.
Joe, Teo, did you write this movie?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, this feels like a Teo parody at some point.
Teo parody.
My script, if I had to ever write this script, I will make sure to let it involve a lot more action, because unfortunately these movies played a lot safe, I
said parody, not sincerity.
Okay. Honestly, I have to wonder though, Teo. What story would you write for a Swan Princess movie? I'm curious.
Okay, on the spot, obviously I cannot really give you an answer, but if I had to, okay, allow me to guess for the rest of the movie. I may come up with you before the final thoughts or something.
Said, I do have something to bring up, like Theo said earlier. Yes, even though Elise and Lucas have aged up to being like 18 or so, they never specified their ages. I'm guessing they're like 18. Odette, Dereck, Huberta, and Rogers haven't aged. In fact, none of the other prominent characters have aged a single day. Like it you know what, Jova? You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of how the teacher married the father in Spirit Riding Free and then gave birth, and yet despite clearly 9 months going by during this moment, no other character changes remotely even anything physically. It's selective aging, and it's just so sloppy. If you're going to age up the characters, age up all of them.
Well, I mean, there are people in real life that don't really age all that much in a few years.
Tom Cruise.
I get that, Dibs, but we're in movie 9 by this point. Shouldn't there be some kind of...
At the very least, the characters that are supposed to be older should represent that. Dereck and Odette, I can accept that they will not show that much signs of age at this point, but at least Huberta and Roger should, definitely.
Yeah.
I guess the idea is that with Huberta, she's as old as she's gonna get before she dies.
Like, we're getting Aunt May syndrome with Huberta, where she constantly looks old again, but she doesn't even progress that much, nor she ever actually dies.
As for Lord Rogers, he seems to be a guy who's still spry, but just has gray hair. Like, it does happen where some people just get gray hairs way before they're actually old.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if movie 11 has the excuse of him inventing a potion that rejuvenates him.
Wow, Dereck and Odette are surprisingly calm and friendly to this person who broke into their fucking bedroom.
I guess after all these movies, we're not surprised anymore.
It's like, what, the 5th person at this time? Like, they're kind of used to it at this point.
Reason to do something about it.
Well, I guess at this point they're just counting their lucky blessings that for once this isn't somebody trying to kill them or get revenge on them. For once.
Yuri!
Really,
okay, Yuri, that was nice. Now try it again, please.
Hey, Dej. Maybe you would beat me if you stopped dragging your feet all the time.
Oh, sorry, it was King William, not Stephen.
They still have the better win record than Smash Brothers.
That's not how King William's face looked like in the first movie, but whatever.
You never saw him smiling genuinely in the first movie. I forgot.
I'm not talking about smiling here. Like the shape of the nose and stuff like that. It doesn't look like how he looked in the first movie.
Also,
there's something about this face that looks a bit cursed to me, because it just sticks out to everybody else.
I get the feeling he looks like he's scowling a lot. Like, I don't want to say...
More like he's modeled after a real person while the rest of them are literal cartoon.
That's the thing, Jova. Maybe he's Vigo the Carpathian. Oh my god, you again? Stop it, movie. Stop making the chef recurring character.
It's like when Swan appears in the Dragon Ball movie.
Excuse me, Theo. You specifically said that you like the fact that we keep continuity with
no, I do. You know what I also like? Bromley. Where has he been all this time? Can you show him, please?
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, Liz is the... what's the word? Spy one? Like the... free spirited. Elise is the free spirited one, whereas God, I forgot his name.
Lucas?
No. This guy, I forgot his name.
Prince Lee.
Prince Lee, thank you. And Prince Lee is the stuck up one who's like, no son of this princess is no son of a...
Please tell me you don't always use that in your country as an excuse to be a jerk.
Oh, there you go, Jova.
Okay, Elise, can you do it next time without sounding very condescending?
I mean, to be fair, he was the much more condescending one of the two, honestly. But of course, she starts off hating him. But of course, she'll end up eventually finding that she likes things about him. It's a little love triangle, but she realizes that Lucas is the one for her. Truly.
Surely.
Thanks, Joe. You just spoiled the entire movie.
This is a very common type of love story.
Have you seen this movie before, Jova?
No.
Neither.
Look,
no, it's not bad.
The fact that I'm this surprised at the fact that they actually grew up, Elise and Lucas, should have been your clue.
It's more so that the plot is so transparent in where it's going, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I get what they're trying to do with the guy who's cursed to be a dragon. They're doing the Emperor's New Groove thing where, as a dragon, he has characteristics of how he looked like as a human injected into that.
So,
But, I'm gonna be honest, his dragon form looks butt ugly because, unlike Emperor's...
It's not just butt ugly, Jova. It's the uncanny valley factor more than anything.
They dragged poor Stephanie Shea into this, didn't they?
Actually, they're about to make another callback here.
To be fair, he was catfished badly in that one.
Not just that, Jova. Not just that, Jova. Yeah. We're 9 movies in, and just like in the first movie, we're still doing... No. Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to bring this up again. Dereck never made a vow to any other woman. He said Odette when he made a vow. He didn't say Bridget. He said, let me finish.
Let him finish, Dej.
He said Odette. It doesn't matter what physical body was sitting right next to him when he made a vow. He made a vow to the correct girl, Odette. Therefore, no, he did not make a vow to another woman. He did not. Sorry.
Also, it's a bit weird because the way this kid is kind of going, it's like the characters were trying to lampshade the aspect of the first movie and try to say, oh, wasn't that kind of silly? Which for a franchise like this doesn't really feel the thing that you should do.
Exactly, Theo. That's my main problem with these newer movies. They make a mockery of the original trilogy.
Honestly, this one doesn't feel like it's really making fun of it. It's more like them trying to reenact what happened, essentially.
No, this one particular, but Derek's speech about lampshading exactly what instigated the climax of the fourth movie sounded more like, oh, I did this thing, and now when I think about it, it was very stupid, don't you think?
Okay. That is more like a Yeah, okay. I wouldn't say that's them trying to, ridicule the first movie for it. It's more like them trying to call out Derek's problem, and that in and of itself is a problem as well, though, because, like we've mentioned, as far as he knew, that was Odette he was confessing his love to. So the fact that they're hanging on that as if that was legit his bad is... Yeah, that's the problem there.
Let me remind you, Jova.
To be fair, that was a problem in the original, too.
Oh no! Yeah, I know, and it's a problem in both movies. That's basically my point.
Yes.
All right, and now
the Scullions will perform for you.
Is this the interlude in the middle of the movie?
No, Dwebs, it's American Idol.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's the interlude in the middle.
Welcome to
Swan Princess. Oh my God, the Swan Princess movie.
We're gonna watch the first. For a long time, I thought we were gonna watch the first movie inside the 9th one.
Please no.
If I hope all music's okay.
Okay,
cute.
That was kind of cute.
At the very least, we did not make that joke about the cell phones, so there is that.
Does this mean I can't eat my poppadoms?
No.
Okay.
Be quiet.
But there's a commentary. I need to talk.
Also, it's almost up 1 hour, and we haven't seen Jean Bob and Speedy too.
Oh, right, John Bob is part of the jury.
Oh, that is true. You did for the commentary.
All right, just to be clear, I'm not against a character not being in a sequel if there's no reason for them to be in it.
Definitely.
Also, remember how the first movie establishes all the other different kingdoms, and this one is completely ignoring them in favor of others that are instead based on the real world?
Okay.
You know, I think I'm starting... Okay, I forget who it was, but I'm starting to see it with all these foreign rulers, essentially, that they look way more photorealistic than, everyone else in the movie for some reason.
Yeah. Okay. Give credit where credit is due, just like with the Asian characters, they do get proper voice actors with the right ethnicity to voice each individual character in these things. So, and like I said, one of the better things about this movie is the soundtrack, because it's a music festival, so yeah, I guess we should have good music in it.
Tale as old as time. Seriously, why does
the hills are alive with the sound of whatever?
Why does the music sound like it's going Beauty and the Beast instrumentally?
Also, new outfit for Odette, so we can sell toys, as Teo usually says.
Again, were there any toys? Oh my god, a new outfit for Dereck, too!
Remember, Dereck had this one, I think, at least in the climax of the first movie, but not in the second, too.
He already had this outfit in the first movie, Jova. Go on.
He dyed her hair,
too. Again, Jova, it's from a Disney alumni, so you kind of expect her to try and borrow some Disney magic.
Fair enough.
You noticed that too, right, Shiroi? From the very beginning, Odette's hair texture looks different than it did in the previous movie.
Also, the color.
It's not the texture. It's like it was still like more yellow in previous scenes.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wait, guys, that's it. That's how we show that she's aged. Her hair is starting to change.
It's a thing that I noticed in movie 4 already. Odette's hair, at least in that movie, changed colors in each scene.
Now, don't you see, guys? It's a subtle means of showing her aging, with the hair starting to...
Alright, first performance, I suppose.
Okay, I have to say...
Jewelry.
Okay, I have to say about that scene we just saw. Elise, didn't Odette and Dereck teach you any manners? Come on, even if you don't like him, you should still not be unkind.
She literally preached to him about manners.
Again, to be fair, he was kind of being, as Dwibs would put it, a prat.
That is correct, Jova, but that doesn't give you the excuse to also be unmannered.
I wouldn't say she was being unmannered. She was trying to teach him a lesson. Although, to your credit in that regard, though, it did come very awkward as heck off.
So there you go. Teo, you asked for it. There he is.
Still don't know where Speed is, but
look at that. Oh, okay, never mind. I guess it is X Factor in general.
But this is more
America's Got Talent.
Yeah, it's more like
That's it.
It's more like Britain's Got Talent, to be honest. Although I would be said, if the X Factor did include knife juggling, it wouldn't have been cancelled.
Oh wait, why did it get cancelled?
Low ratings.
I love how he was blatantly not clutching any of those things. Like, you were doing so good animation, and then you went lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it got cancelled in 2018.
Well, Joe, but we can't have a perfect record now, can we?
Also, I'll give the movie credit. It is kind of clever. There's Speedy. I will give the movie credit that... Oh, God, that's Lion King.
Oh.
Complete with the silhouettes.
So yeah, we're gonna start. We're gonna start with the African number.
Anyway, I will give the movie some credit.
Sorry, go on.
I will give the movie some credit that the Chamberlain's voice sounding like the announcer from America's Got Talent, being that way because he got it cleared out with spray, is mildly clever.
Shame it's not based off the British X Factor, because our voice announcer for that would have helped add some gravitas to all this.
And there you go. Basically, guys, John Bob is going to be the Simon Cowell stand-in.
Of course.
Great.
Also, auto-tune, really?
Should this be cheating then if you're using auto-tune?
I mean,
whatever.
I guess it's
at least it's into it.
You know what? At least it's not a bad song, I guess. And you know what? At least it's a good use of autotune. Oh God, this movie actually used autotune better than the Beauty and the Beast live-action remake.
Well, my main issue is this supposed to be a talent competition or just a talent show?
No.
Yes.
I think it's a competition because they do mention there being a winner.
So they should be disqualified. You can't use auto-tune in it.
When was there a rule stating that you can't?
That's what John Bob thinks.
Integrity.
Oh, he didn't.
Okay, I kind of like
Why
that.
are you booing him? He's right.
What do you mean rating? What do you mean ratings? There's no TV. Well, not yet, at least.
Like people pay attention to Simon.
What? Okay, this also would have helped the X Factor stay on there a little bit longer if people started throwing fruit at the judges.
Actually, do you remember the one person who came out and threw what I think were eggs at the judges?
So
I wouldn't have necessarily condoned it, but it probably would have helped steer more interest in the program.
Anyway, what just happened?
The frog dared to tell the truth, and everyone's upset.
John Bob in this movie will be known as John Cowell. There you go.
Okay, Justin for his opinion, and he gave it.
She's not talking about the frog, though. She's talking about like the fact that she's not showing respect to Prince Lee. Who, yes, while Prince Lee is kind of stuck up, he is our guest. Therefore, we should treat our guests, properly.
There you go, Pedro. Roberto agrees with you.
And of all people, it's Roberto.
Yeah, I noticed
you.
Roberto in this movie have been surprisingly more in line.
I know, right? Like, did they finally get so much hate for how Roberto was just getting worse and worse that they decided, all right, let's actually make Roberto reasonable?
That being said, Jova, go on, Jerry.
No, you finish.
That being said, Jova, it also puts this into question. It seems like Odette and Dereck aren't very good parents now, are they? Because they didn't seem to have raised them very well.
Okay. To be fair, you can't always judge how good a parent is based off of how the kid is acted. Because sometimes even the best parents in the world just get a kid that is,
I guess,
legit not well behaved.
Yeah, that's something Pedro has told me in the past.
Go on, Shiri.
But yeah, I don't know if you remember this, Dwibs, but yeah, I was right. It was Britain's Got Talent where Simon got pelted with eggs.
Long overdue justice.
See, I just posted an article in the chat.
So yeah, Elise is practicing an apology to Prince Lee. Let's see if she succeeds.
A harp?
A swan harp, Jova.
Because everything is themed, it's for merchandising purposes.
Don't you see? I want an harp. Hey, Jova, I want an harp that's curvy and with beak, like a swan.
Okay, there are plenty of harps like that.
Well, yeah, I was calling back to the first movie, that bit with the swan stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. You recently did a marathon in it, so that's how you remember this stuff, because last time I saw it was legit when we last did our commentary on it. Yeah,
no. Well, remember, Joe, I grew up with the original trilogy, so I do know it very well in general.
The ironic thing with me is that I grew up with the second movie more than the first movie, to the point where I actually thought the second movie was the first movie. Let me finish, and I remember that one more. Okay, go on, Dej.
The way that he turned the Swan around is like he wanted to hold someone like that. So it's just like,
oh god, the golden filter of love.
And now, oh my god,
you're gonna touch hands in a second.
Oh my god, you can play ARP. I can play ARP. We should totally make out.
Wait, I mean, sure, why not?
Are we gonna hang out or make out?
Dumber.
Yes.
Like, wasn't Prince Lee annoyed with her earlier? I was like, oh, well, we play harp, so why not?
Okay, you know what? Again, I'll give it credit. The music is not bad in this.
Yeah, the music is the best part of this, Jova. Go on.
And I'll give credit to the movie as a whole. It's not as mind-numbingly dull as the previous one.
Like, I mean,
there's actually stuff happening.
And you know what? You know what this movie manages to do? What the last movie failed to do? It seems to be balancing out the focus between both Odette and Dereck and Elise and Lucas. Like, Elise and Lucas don't feel as bland here. It's kind of like the reverse of what happened in the first movie, where Odette and Dereck started off interesting as kids, but just became bland as adults. But now here, it's like Elise and Lucas were becoming bland as kids, but now as adults, they have more character to them.
Also, although this is pretty generic as all hell, it's still a much better love triangle thing than what a couple of movies ago tried to do.
See what I mean?
Are you just winking at me?
Where this self-deprecation comes from?
No. That didn't feel like self-deprecation. That felt more like a fourth wall gag because Dereck was literally winking at the audience.
So this is where Lana got her inspiration from.
Nah, that's a much different flavor, honestly. Like, honestly, all the self-joking stuff aside, this movie doesn't feel like it hates being a Swan Princess movie like how Matrix Resurrections seems like it hated being a Matrix movie.
Anyway, yeah, the Scully is trying to help us figure out what the fuck we can do to
We
break
need
the spell.
Dragon Blood for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Dragon Ball.
There you go. Since Prince Lee can play
Lucas
harp,
is jealous.
Since Lee can play harp, now he's cool. All right, time for she's the Russian ballerina.
We didn't mention Kiev Ras.
This is actually probably my favorite of the songs. Actually,
ouch! Jean Bob is fucking savage in this movie.
So what's this performance going to be?
Of course, ice skating.
Russia. So.
It doesn't sound bad. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. In some cases, it can be considered Hallmark tier, but honestly,
it's also the presentation. You can tell. Obviously, I haven't seen what the others tend to perform, but you can tell that these movies also trying to ape up a bit some most well-known stuff.
Please tell me this movie doesn't. Please tell me this movie doesn't try and do a Tonya Harding reference.
What?
I don't even know what that is. So
it's this infamous thing in ice skating where one ice skater had another one injured, so she could get the gold medal.
No. I mean, that wouldn't even make any sense to it. She's the only ice skater here.
Pedro, making real-world references that don't make sense. You do remember these movies.
Okay.
You describe a duet act to be applied to a single person.
That too, yeah. Like, no, that wouldn't happen. Like, yes, we have had stuff that has made no sense in the context of the world, but that's the thing. It still is
Oh God.
Okay, I did not need that close up. Ooh, a 10-point landing.
And displayed, of course.
So half the time it looked like she was floating rather than.
Let's see what the judges think.
Anyway, yeah, let's see what they think.
John Bob is moved to tears.
What? Wait, what?
What are you, 5?
Well, he didn't. Wait, hang on. He didn't let him say what he was going to say.
That's because of what Jean-Bob said to her, behind the curtain before. And
Jesus, John Bob.
yeah.
Thank you.
This guy's full of takes today.
Man, if the internet existed in this time period, he would be hated.
Also, is it like a thing where the festival is going on, night by night, and the rest is happening to each day, I guess?
Hey, yeah.
It feels so weird to have the festival interrupted constantly, to have these more mundane parts in between. Usually it will do something, like Space Jam, where the whole preparation is before and then the entire event is later.
I guess, to be fair, it does kind of help the pacing in giving us benchmarks here and there. Song here, some plot in between there.
He gave him a bent tulip.
Okay. I can't tell if the prince is actually honest about this one or if he's just making that one up on the fly.
It's also a stereotype, Joe, but the idea that the Chinese philosophy, has always something to teach in any kind of situation. Also, is really the only way you can actually procure, dragon blood.
Here you go. Teo, I'm guessing they're trying to once again call back to the fact that he was an archer in the first film.
It's fine. There are different ways for you to do it.
He just needs to get a scratch.
Blood?
Wait for it. Wait for it.
There it is.
There it is.
Hey, oh my God, Pedro, this is the first movie in forever to remember that. Wait, there was not that much blood in there, but whatever.
No, seriously.
There's only like a little bit.
Oh,
magical
that just made him turn more into a dragon. But this is the first movie in a while to remember that Derek's supposed to be a very competent hunter. So, again, already this movie is, I'm gonna say it, best movie since the original trilogy. Even better than Swan Princess 4.
Not that that's hard, but yeah, sure.
Well, also, I guess this is the Hispanic number.
Honestly, I'm not really seeing anything noticeably bad about this movie.
The song quality to me, they instead of actually trying to ape up they're trying to obviously being styled after the countries these royals are supposed to represent. They're going for this more modern vibe instead of being more classical.
That was the thing they did
with the stupid auto-tune. Yeah, so that's really the worst aspect to me.
That was kind of a thing they did in Swan Princess 4 as well, so, I guess I should reiterate, I'm not really seeing any astronomically bad thing about this movie. Sure, it still has quirks, but honestly, I might actually call this one a more
imagine if
proper
Encanto had auto-tune in its songs.
It kind of did in that one song, but look, like I said, auto-tune used well. Remember, okay, to be fair, autotune is used a lot more than we recognize. It's just that, it's when we can audibly hear it, and when it's used badly, again, Beauty and the Beast, is when we really call it out. And again, I still can't believe that this is a movie that uses autotune. Also, give it credit, it's probably got the funniest John Bob skits I've seen since, Swan Princess 4.
Think you can do a good Simon Cowell impression? Since John Bob has been silent?
Well, you see, that song was missing a certain gravitas to it.
Thumbs down.
But heads up, mate. You couldn't sing. Come on. Why are you booing me? Come on, I'm right. Oh yeah,
Frog's gonna be on the menu tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Tonight I dine on frog.
Ladies and gentlemen, the maturity of my fellow judges. They can't think of a witty retort, so they just draw childish pictures of me.
This is another problem that I have as well. Okay, sorry, another problem. Sorry, this is actually my first major problem with this movie. Actually, I don't really care for this idea that despite being noticeably, in love with Lucas at the beginning of this movie, all of a sudden she meets this guy, and now all of a sudden she's starting to go gaga for him.
Yeah.
Like, even though, of course, she spent a lot more time with Lucas and she knows him a lot better. Again, it's a betrayal to what's been happening in the previous movies. Even though those previous movies were crap, I would at the very least respect them if they at the very least pay attention to the fact that it makes a lot more sense for her to be in love with Lucas than this guy.
Okay,
there's also the fact, Pedro, but it's a lose-lose. It's a more of a lose-lose situation as well, Pedro, because if she ends up being with this guy, then it ultimately confirms this kind of betrayal towards what they were building up with Lucas, and it's more like again, an affront to what they've been trying. If she still ends up with Lucas in the end, this has been just very pointless conflict.
Okay, I'm gonna say it. I disagree.
No,
hold on, Dej.
Hold on, Dej.
Yeah, no, just go first.
I disagree because honestly, okay, look, I wouldn't say the movie has necessarily been guaranteed to have been building up Lucas and Elise as a relationship, because then we fall into the old trope of, oh, well, first girl met first boy, of course they're gonna fall in love. Like, okay, if I may, I can...
with me.
Yes, and you know what? Good for you. However, it's a bit of a cliche that can get a bit annoying. Like, honestly, sometimes, why can't a boy and girl just be very good friends? And I do wonder...
definitely.
And I do wonder if maybe that's why Elise is falling more for Lee than Lucas, because, well, she sees Lucas more as a friend, honestly. Like, again...
Jova, I would completely be okay with what you're saying if it wasn't for the fact that at the opening of this movie, we have that scene where, they're being, they're having that kind of awkward tension between each other, and then when Lucas goes, she goes, clearly demonstrating that she's thinking about him more than a friend right there.
Well, the thing there is that Lucas was unfortunately clueless each time, and that can be a bit of a turnoff, I will say. Like, okay, let me put it like this.
It really depends, Jova. Let me say that Promare pulled this kind of thing much better.
Oh, I definitely agree.
Instead of having an actual triangle, it had exactly what you said. Something that was supposed to be a hint of a relationship at the beginning, but that gets quickly forgotten, and the one of the characters involved ends up with someone else by the end through different circumstances.
Let me put it like this.
I was also going to agree with what Jova says. Like, if she's young, so she's going through emotions. So it's like, of course, so her ending up with...
Also, Lucas, really? You were going to ask Rogers for help for this?
Hey, Rogers is probably the closest to anyone who's probably going to get married, aside from Dereck and Odette in this.
Why don't she ask help to Dereck? Well, okay.
Or even, actually, Theo, I have a question. Where are your parents, Lucas?
That's also a good question. Maybe they died off screen.
He does seem to be doing farming on his own now.
Oh no, it looks like it's one of your big no-nos.
What?
Well, it was just a guess. I don't pretend the movie actually did it.
I don't think the movie said anything to indicate that, to be fair. So I'll give it a pass for now.
We really are into referencing the first movie today.
Well, honestly, I get the feeling maybe this movie is legit their first attempt to actually, connect this stuff here. Because, okay, look, honestly, with the American Idol stuff here, I dare say I'm fine with this, if only because, okay, look, when it came to, like, Hell's Kitchen or the People's Court parodies, those ones just... Sorry, go on. Those ones just blatantly acted as if we were on TV, and it didn't make sense. Here, with, the whole Idol parody, there actually is a crowd to react to this stuff, so the context makes more sense. And like I said, we've gotten some of the funniest bits from John Bob ever in here, because, again, it works enough within the context. So...
I got.
So Teo, it looks like we're in the Shira mansion.
God damn it! I was just about to mention, but no, go on, Java. I'll elaborate later.
Like, I'll give this movie some credit that, let me guess, she's the one who developed the curse, isn't she?
I mean, duh.
Why?
Because her motivation will be revealed later, Jova. I actually forgot if it's in this movie or in the next one.
Wait, she's a recurring villain?
That's the thing, Jova. Both this and movie 10 are a two-parter.
Yeah, again,
No
Jova, we're
way.
basically we're two-thirds in. I get the idea what's gonna happen is that this movie is dedicated to the entire festival, but it basically ends with a cliffhanger, and the next movie is gonna resolve the plot with the dragon transformation.
And
Very
this
good,
came
Teo.
out, the thought
Dude,
occurs...
why don't you just go face through the floor?
the thought occurs that this came out the same year as Endgame.
And it's also... okay, I'll wait till...
Also, surprisingly enough, this person actually knows that glass can trap ghosts.
I guess, with all her spells and magic and whatnot, she'd probably be in on that. Oh no, that did something, I guess?
Also, when it comes to the stairs, as a general rule of thumb, it's mostly established by the Divine Comedy. Going from the right to the left is usually symbolic for the descending to hell, and going through an evil path, while going from the left to the right is the opposite.
Elise, that's not how you ride a horse. You have to have one leg from the other side and the other from the other. You don't put both your legs...
Maybe she should
It's built different.
Okay.
Maybe she should ask lessons to Lucky.
To be fair, she is riding side saddle, which is a proper way for a princess to ride a horse, as Princess Diaries taught me.
I'm not exactly gonna take Princess
Diary. But Jova, Princess Diary taught me that you can have Stan Lee in your movie without being a superhero movie.
I am still trying to
what?
figure... Yes, Stan Lee literally shows up in Princess Diaries too.
And nobody knows why he's there.
I never saw it.
That's it gets even better. Anne Hathaway and Chris Pine are the main couple in Princess Diaries 2.
Yeah.
That's right. Catwoman and James T. Kirk, or Steve Trevor from the Wonder Woman movie, are a couple.
Yep. So yeah, looks
There,
like
wait, hold on. Would you say
There might be something
that
sorry.
wasn't there before?
Before, yeah. Very sufferable. That's one way of put it. You're very fond of your wife, aren't you? Oh yeah, she's very sufferable.
Oh yeah,
she's very sufferable.
Yes. I'd sure love to suffer her in my bed.
Vanessa, I'm gonna teach everyone to Vanessa.
Shiroi, just ignore that.
Shiroi, Vanessa's very sufferable. How's Alice? Is she very sufferable to you?
Shiroi,
She's just very tired.
Shiroi, it's called suffering for the arts every night.
Stop talking.
Yes.
I can't believe we just said
That
that.
wording. That's such poor wording.
Again, I get the idea what they wanted to do for Prince Lee was the whole, cultured poet kind of royal. Again, it's a common stereotype when it comes to China, Korea, and Japan.
I'm
sorry, Lucas. So if you were all about ending up together, how did you miss the blatant flirting she was throwing at you earlier?
Are we gonna have a Bollywood segment?
It's because Jova, they're doing the whole you only know what you have when you lose it or something along those lines.
So this movie came out the same year as the Aladdin remake.
Yes.
It also came out the same year as Endgame, like I mentioned, since we mentioned this being a two-parter.
I'm sorry, Lucas. But I'm really in love with Prince Lee. He's so sufferable.
Wait, what? That's what girls are into these days?
I'm sorry, Lucas, but I need a sufferable man in my life because if I don't have that,
I mean, you better have someone that you can tolerate because.
For a reminder to the audience as well, in case you have zero experience with Bollywood, please check their actual movies. They're absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now even Disney Plus is apparently going to be adding a Bollywood category there.
Hey, Mom, I'm going to introduce you to my girlfriend. She's very tolerable. I'm pretty sure you'll like her.
So I guess it was this guy who invented moonwalking.
Sure. And John Bobby's still not impressed.
Oh. Again, I'll give it credit. The songs have some good variety. And...
the songs are fine, but the choreography is... I'm not entirely sold on the choreography.
Okay, for something like this, usually the strength of Bollywood ballet is that there are a lot of people who are dancing at the same time in unison, good synchronization and everything. So if it's more of a solo kind of act, in this case with those call, the support, it doesn't have the same energy. I think I'm gonna be with John Bob on this one.
Okay, Theo, in that case, I'm gonna have to throw some tomatoes at you.
I mean, food is still accepted, why not?
Shots fired. Again, honestly, this is probably the most witty I've seen Uberta be since, God, even movie
Even
3,
Roger
honestly.
is actually more spot on.
Honestly, look, obviously...
I will give credit that there's no stupid Da Vinci science in this one. So
it's not even that. The whole idea of Uberta and Rogers being too obnoxious, too over the top, and being hateful towards each other. This generally feels a step up to that.
It actually feels like
also,
they have...
glow sticks.
It actually feels like...
glow sticks.
It actually feels like they have class again, which again... Been a while since we saw that. Okay.
In the meantime,
it says discount if you pre-order before 6 p.m.
Oh boy.
So yeah, apparently Scully has a photographic memory and he was able to perfectly remember the entirety of the spell. So let's see.
I wonder if these actually mean something, because these are actual ideograms.
Yes.
I mean, guess she has to die. Oh.
That means that one of the emperor's children needs to surrender their love.
I wonder
who that will be.
Prince Lee.
But Dej, that will mean he will have to sacrifice his true love for Elise.
And then that means that Elise won't be able to get together with him. Oh, wait.
Who's this character's name again?
Maybe because you're in the wrong country, sweetie.
No, it's not that, Theo. Yeah.
Just to make sure, what's this character's name again?
I actually forgot.
Melee.
Yeah, that's Stephanie Shea's character, yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't stop loving you.
Well, to be fair, that actually makes sense, to be fair.
Yeah.
You can say out loud that you don't love someone, but deep down that's not true. That's not how it works,
From what I understand, this does sound like something that would happen in something like Sailor Moon, when they must give up their love to save another or something.
Honestly, I'll admit it's kind of.
Is this how Haruka and Michiru became cousins?
Honestly, you know what? Honestly, you know what's sad? Honestly, this is probably one of the unique rules in a fairy tale rule I've ever seen. Somebody actually having to give up love in order to break the spell, because normally, it's all about, true love.
Richard, could you tell the animators, seriously, did you notice Derek's face during the moment that they were having this sad moment? Dereck looked so bored. Richard, couldn't you tell the animators to animate, his face?
Also, Theo, to your earlier point, the whole cousins thing, but in order for it to be properly that, one of the pair would have to sound like a robot.
Yeah, another problem that I do have as well is what they do with Lucas in this movie. Because, okay, dude, I get it. Oh, hold on, this is Lee's number. Basically, Joe, this is what the movie pushes as the standout number.
All right, let's see it. Or hear it.
And then Mei Li ran on the stage, pelted the frog with eggs, and got a composing career out of it.
But there's actually two versions of this song, an English one and a Chinese one.
We're currently, at least this copy has the Chinese one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The English version is in the soundtrack.
Of course. Okay, to be fair, compared to the previous movie, this one feels more justified to have the soundtrack being attached to it.
I understand, Teo. It's the same thing. Like in Encanto, Dos Oruguitas plays in Spanish in the scene, but then there's the English version in the credits. So this is a common thing.
Mm-hmm. I would have appreciated if they actually had hard subs. For the record, again, it's something that normally I don't know actually exactly if the DVDs actually does encode hard subs or if there are different versions that do that or not.
For comparison, sorry, go on.
But I actually do not mind the idea of having a song like this in its original language. Again, it's a good showcase of what the different culture represents more than anything. But I would have also appreciated also to put subs there. Yes, Java.
What was I about to say? Oh, right, yeah. For comparison's sake, Encanto, at least when I watched it on Disney Plus, does play English subtitles during the songs that are sung exclusively in Spanish. I don't know if that's how it was. I don't know if that's how it was done when it was in the movie theater, though, because I didn't see it in theaters. Pedro, did you see it in theaters?
Well, as I think the Portuguese dub doesn't have subs because we can understand Spanish. There's no need.
You all suck and none of you win.
Oh, cow!
Jean-Bob is the winner.
That being said, allow me to voice my issue. So I have an issue with how they handle Lucas's character in this movie. Look, dude, I get it. You're disappointed that Elise has the hots for another guy. I get that, but at the same time, if you really like her, you should respect her decision.
I get the feeling he didn't even say anything wrong.
Sorry, Pedro. Sorry.
Go on.
And look, it's one of those cases where it was incredibly childish of you to throw those nuts earlier while they were in the horses. You know, like it's one of those cases where I don't know. Like, okay, let me put it this way. I feel like this character flaw. Okay, yes, you can argue it's supposed to be his character flaw, but that's the thing. The fact that he's being very childish and not exactly accepting the fact that Elise is not into him anymore doesn't seem to be something that the movie specifically addresses. Instead, no, he's having this bit where he's dancing with Roger, so he can dance with Elise and maybe try and win her back.
Okay, to his credit, Elise never did say that she didn't have the hots for Lucas anymore. Like, okay, granted, for all we know, this could be one of those misunderstanding plots, or again, one of those cases where, like we mentioned, a love triangle. Like, maybe she still does have feelings for both. It's just that she's also realizing feelings for Lee. So, okay, let me put it this. If she said, I'm in love with Lee, not you, then yeah, he does need to let her go. But given that, as far as any of us know, that is not the case, then, well, I can see why he may still feel like he has a chance.
See, this is the reason love triangles tend to be bad in media. Not saying they are bad every time, but the problem with love triangles is that you have to be very careful when you write a love triangle story, because if you screw it up, you may make a character come off as an asshole, or you can make one of the in this case, at least you can make Elise come across as a fickle person. It really is one of those cases where you have to be very careful when you write a story.
Or you could end up grinding the plot of the film to
I was about to mention that as well.
Like the Hobbit.
See, the reason the love triangle in Girlfriend works is because not only is that show, well, mostly comedic, the characters are genuinely well written, and the love triangle is called into question as a bad thing from the get-go anyway.
Oh, so I guess now she's gonna show Prince Lee Roger's secret base.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this bit.
Sure, Elise, just showcase your
my God,
actual secret spy
yes.
technology to a foreign nation representative. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, this is Elise. You probably shouldn't show this to him. Like there's such a thing as secrets.
Oh, call
of the
back to
state.
movie 6. Sorry, 7.
No, 7.
Movie 7, actually.
They all kind of bleed
He
together.
becomes a traitor.
It's one of those things where
That's little Timmy's crotch.
Yeah,
That is
that's
true.
movie 6. Oh wait, no. That's
Movie 7,
also
actually.
movie 7.
Is this a bit where she falls back in love with Lucas again?
Okay, I will say this. This would have been a more powerful moment, nostalgic, if the movies were actually more separate in terms of release. You have to remember something, regardless of in how us, our group actually watch these movies. These particular set of movies that we have watched have been released 1 year after the other on a year basis.
Yep.
If movie 7 was at least like 5 years old in terms of separation between that and this, that kind of moment, that kind of callback, the all the stuff that Lucas did, his gadgets and everything, even the modern actor, that would have been much more powerful because time would have passed out of universe for assuming a more meta kind of example. But here, it's not doesn't have the same bite as it probably wants to have.
Time Rogers gave Lucas a new outfit for the ball.
Why did he include the hashtags in the letter?
Hashtags because hello, fellow kids. Get it?
2090.
Yeah, it's a.
Though, yeah, there are a lot of throwbacks to this one. They even brought us back to that climatic area with Rothbard as well.
Yeah, remember, Jova, apparently they decided to construct, to repair the entire castle that was there, that Rothbard was using as his base of operation.
So yeah, Chan wants to abandon her because he wants her to be free to find somebody else.
Oh!
You had that moment, but you kind of ruined it with
she
the zoom
fainted?
in.
Did she just have a heart attack?
She collapses.
Well, to be fair, big moments of sorrow, so I can maybe kind of get it. But man, was that dramatic!
Yeah, well, what was with that zoom in?
Problem with the movie is I don't know about you guys, but I don't really care about Shen and Meili's plot. The movie didn't really do a good job making
more
us care.
like I get the idea. We're trying to plant the seed in so that it can have the effect of the cliffhanger for introducing properly the next movie. But again, it's having the same kind of a problem that the subplot of the previous movie had. It's a bit too intrusive and goes a bit longer than it needs to.
I will give it credit, though. Unlike the subplot in the last movie, this one actually does feel like it is trying to intertwine with the other plot here.
It's also less annoying for obvious reasons.
Definitely.
If anything, I would have preferred following this over the whole music festival.
My issue is that they didn't really do a good job fleshing out the characters to really make me care. To be honest with you, she's just a princess, and
no, she's not.
Actually, she is.
Never mind.
Okay,
She is. That's right.
She is actually.
Look at that, the lighting, just like in the first movie.
Remember, Jova, she's
Prince
Lee's sister.
Yes. We established that she's
Also,
the princess.
wasn't the orchestra more, with more people than this? Okay. There's also the problem again of the pacing. The fact that I still do believe that the whole music festival should have been in one block, one number after the other, instead of being interspersed by these different days where the characters just hang around in between or to develop this. I don't know.
So there you go. Prince Lee won the festival, meaning he gets to perform the proper song that will play during Elise's coming-of-age ball.
Okay.
And then it turns out he's secretly evil.
No, he's not. He's not actually.
Even for this franchise.
It would be hilarious, though, if it turned out to be like Kylo Ren. Well, Luca seems to have more the shades of becoming that.
So what? So he's going to die after kissing her?
Why not?
Yeah, I know I have to do it, but I don't think I'm willing to do it.
Oh. Aww.
You are not my friend.
Not just that. Like I feel like this sudden noble act comes a bit out of nowhere because it's not. Here's the thing. Lee never got a chance to properly know Lucas, so he doesn't really have a reason to do this noble act for him.
Yeah, the act of selfless, Also, did you notice with the positioning and dark outfit, Lucas was literally paralleling what Rothbart was doing during the recap at the beginning of the first movie. Were they implying that if left unchecked, he would have legitimately become a bad guy?
Nah. Okay, to give Lee credit, he had noticed that Lucas had feelings for her, Elise, and honestly, my guess is he seemed to have inferred that those two did have something of a relationship together, and I don't know.
That is true, Jova, but at the same time, all's fair in love and war.
I guess to be fair, Lee also balanced out the things in his mind, in hindsight, him trying to court a princess from this one would maybe make things awkward, based off of how it is with dear old dad back home. So, I guess he figured it's not with the heartache all around.
Let me put it this way. This would have felt a lot more earned if, instead of just Lee gets to know Elise. How about also having some scenes where Lee and Lucas get to know each other a bit, and they get to see, so I guess Lucas gets to see that Lee's not as bad as he thinks he is, and Lee gets to also know Lucas on the side, and then maybe that's when he realizes that, and again, that scene earlier where Elise was, reminiscing about her escapades with Lucas in movie 7 was supposed to be Lee's hint that she still cares for Lucas. I get that. But I feel like this would have been way better if we had a mini subplot of him getting to know Lucas as well, so he knows that he deserves this chance.
There was also the bit though that Lee was actually accidentally eavesdropping on Lucas when he was talking to Rogers about he was really caring, exercising and was really wanting to win back Elise.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that.
I would argue that there's. I would argue that there's enough, but I do agree that there could have been more.
There you go, Sheila. We did it. This ship has officially set sail.
Great. I don't care.
And now
this ship and
what a cat.
And yes, like Theo and Jova predicted, yes, Lee's noble act of sacrificing his love for Elise is what cures
It's a happy
Chen.
ending for everyone, except Lee.
Poor bastard.
Actually, too, I am happy to tell you that Lee will get his happy ending in the next movie.
That's nice. Hey!
Oh, why?
Just to remind you that those two are a thing.
Why not? Sure. And Jean-Paul.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Remember, Shira, Rogers and Hubert are into each other, even if they don't like to admit it
They
sometimes.
did actually ask each other to marry each other like a couple of movies ago. What happened to that?
Even though I pretty much predicted stuff note for note, it's not as cringe as I thought it would be when I predicted it.
Oh, no.
I'll admit.
To me, this movie is very much just like the first movie. It's very mediocre.
But hey, look at that! We finally got a movie that captures the spirit of the original.
Congratulations! You managed to make a movie that's not an embarrassing train wreck. I mean, should I be applauding you?
Yeah. It took him 25 years to get to that point.
Oh God, that static face.
Okay. I'd argue a little bit lesser because I think the original trilogy as a whole is fine, though still that just brings it down to 23 years.
Well, I mean, the last one was in 1998, so 21.
Wait, hold on. Didn't we have a bad guy in this movie, though?
She was still confined in the Katai King Empire.
No, don't worry, Jova. We're saving it for the next one.
Okay. Still, though, I mean... Okay, I'll admit, that was surprisingly fine. Granted, unless the movie has one last minute bout of stupidity to
No. Well, this is where we end.
Really?
No, that's the thing. The evil sorceress from the Katai Empire snaps her fingers, and Elisa sees Lucas dusting in front of her.
Ladies and gentlemen, to be continued in Swan Princess 10.
This is probably the lamest, catching way to try to catch the audience for a cliffhanger.
Okay. Not gonna lie, it doesn't even really feel like a cliffhanger. I mean, okay. Sure, there's apparently something evil going on with that woman, but I mean, we do need to know this or that stuff here and there, but I don't know, maybe you could have tried to throw in a cliffhanger? I mean, don't get me wrong, I guess it's nice that even though it's to be continued, I wonder if some people thought it just meant, the confirmation of a sequel as opposed to, something directly tied to this movie.
I actually do wonder if the original draft was that this movie and the one that will follow this were supposed to be a single story, but they decided to actually split it into two and actually stretch each, to squeeze more bucks out of this.
I can't believe I'm gonna say it. That was a surprisingly wholesome ending. Like, no jokes or anything about it. Like,
judging by how, for lack of a better term, conclusive the ending was in the context of this movie, having to be continued at the end is a bit...
I do agree. I don't think we needed to include it to be continued. Like, sure, continue with the plot. Like, there are some things left unresolved, but wasn't it kind of already obvious at this point there was going to be a sequel?
I mean, what's with the context of that bit, what's there to continue? The characters, breaking their hug and deciding to go to bed.
For me,
that's the epic cliffhanger conclusion.
For me, it's one of those cases where the movie has good ideas, but I don't feel like the ending is earned, because I feel like, let me put it this way: I feel like this movie would have been stronger if we would have reworked some things and added. This is probably the movie where the short run time hurts it the most to me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's the thing, it's been longer than most of the recent films.
And still, I feel like this movie should have been at least 100 minutes. Add extra stuff to properly build up to things better, because the short run time is what really hurts this movie.
Again, my stance has been that there's technically just enough for this to be fine, but I do agree with you that there could have been and probably should have been more to it. Like, it's just enough, but that's just what it is. Just enough.
So final thoughts for me first. I gotta say, this film was at least somewhat of a surprise. It wasn't dreadfully boring like the previous couple, or awful like the one that came before it. Mm-hmm. It was actually solidly decent and had a lot of effort put into it. I mean, there's still a lot of problems. I mean, I mean, the animation, while it has gotten better, is still not to the level of even some of his other direct-to-DVD contemporaries.
It's so weird hearing the word effort being used in positive criticism of a Swan Princess movie these days.
The use of auto... I mean, auto-tune's bad enough, but the use of it here is really out of place.
Well, think of it like this, guys. If you keep throwing shit at the wall for 20 plus years, eventually one of the turds will stick.
And be good?
Eventually one of the turds will stick. It may take 20 years, but eventually one of them will stick.
So it still smells.
But the plot itself, is solid enough. I mean, it's not going to win any awards, and it's not... Again, it's not like it's on the contemporary of other direct-to-DVD films, like some Disney ones.
Oh yeah, it is no Cinderella free.
No.
Or Bambi 2. But again, it's perfectly solid. And in terms of, I think this is almost the best acting performances out of these direct-to-DVD films so far, especially Stephanie Shea's take on Mei Lee. But that's all I can say, really. It's a solid effort for a change. And it's interesting that it took to the 25th anniversary of the series for them to do it. But, I guess better late than never. And it'll be interesting for the next movie, which came out during the year we should never speak of, and see how that managed to cope, with its production.
Yeah, that actually wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible. Yay! It's not terrible.
It was actually decent. Like, it wasn't good. It was just okay. It's average. It's
mediocre.
You can tell a lot more effort went into this one. Like, they seem to care quite a bit. The songs still aren't great. Like, the auto-tune, I do agree, it's out of place, but again, that's going back to the time period thing. Although, honestly, the more these continue, I think I'm just going to disregard the whole weird mix-up of time periods, because, they gave up on establishing a specific era a long time ago, so... some of the animation is still a little awkward, namely the dragon. That's... I know what they were going for, but it still doesn't... the execution just kind of fell flat with that. Maybe they could have had more interactions between some of the characters, but honestly, parts of this dragged for me, actually.
Sorry.
Parts of this actually dragged for me, honestly.
Ha!
Maybe
for me,
could have...
I actually have... it's the same thing, Shuri. I have the same problem with this... Well, not just that. They're different beasts altogether. But one problem I have in common with both this and Your Name is that both movies needed to be longer. For what they're trying to do, they needed to be longer to properly flesh out all these plots as good as possible. It's the fact that, I feel like one of these plots probably should have been cut down to make sure we can focus on the others more.
I think I'd rather go with the idea of giving this movie more time than cutting out one of the plots.
I should explain. I mean, if you can't make it longer, then the better compromise is to at the very least try to choose one of the plots to go. That's what I mean.
All right, fair beans. Okay, Dej.
What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I didn't hate it.
That's the best thing you said about a Swan Princess movie.
Deji didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. Dejimon 11, 2022.
It had an interesting premise, because it's yes, it technically does retread the first movie, but it's now Odette and Dereck trying to help these other people with a dilemma they've gone through, which is actually neat. But I don't know. I wish we actually got to know these new characters better, because in a way it's kind of hard for me to feel about the emotional stuff that they were trying to go with. The love triangle was whatever, and I feel like they resolved it as quickly as they set it up. So I guess that's not too terrible. I don't know. The music was better. I didn't want to mute it or lower the volume, so it's like they took one step forward.
Yeah.
And that's it. So it's like maybe they could probably make better films now.
Actually, that's the better question, which also can be asked to Shiroi, and consequently also to Dweebs. Be the judge of the competition. Which music number did you think was the more, the one with more merits to it?
I kind of forgot about them already. So.
Brilliant. Shiroi?
I don't know. I guess the first one.
The African one. Mm-hmm.
For me, it's the Russian one.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the Russian one was good.
I guess
I didn't mind Prince Lee's song. That was neat. Are we almost done with this movie?
Only one more movie.
For the time.
Well, Deji, we had to solve this cliffhanger.
Of course we do. I'll go next. Okay, sadly, Java, I still cannot really answer your question right now about the fanfic, but I am confident that I should be able to by the end of the next movie. And in general, I can give you a general idea. I do believe a mixture of movie 5 and movie 7 already has something as a basis to go on, because that's essentially what the Tangled series did, expanding the territories outside of Corona, while also the kingdom in itself, but staying a bit more focused. The problem with both movie 5 and movie 7 was that, again, they were too dispersive with what the stories they wanted to tell, and sometimes some of the naming were giving a bit more confusion. So something among like that, but again, more focused and with less weird implications, like say the way Odette and Dereck adopt Elise, can actually work as intended to properly expand. But again, I might elaborate this tomorrow. Who knows? As for this movie itself, it's serviceable, but I kind of missed the banshee stupidity of the previous ones. Not gonna lie. So yeah. Movie 7 kind of still remains my favorite to me out of a bunch of these new ones so far. Gotta be honest.
Beautiful.
The major problem to this, for this to me, is how it's segmented. Like I mentioned multiple times in this commentary, I do believe it should have had the characters interacting with each other in one block with each passing day for the first 2/3, and have the entire final third dedicated entirely to the musical events. Having it segmented like this in between the other just breaks the pace to me a bit too much. And it also gives the implication that they just have that one number and then everyone goes away, and then they come back to the evening of the day after, for the next one, which is just a waste of production.
Now that you mention it,
I guess it would be in character with Rogers, but no, it just doesn't make any sense.
Now that you mention it, I wonder if maybe they spaced it out so that the songs could be better spaced out throughout the movie, as opposed to just,
Also the choreography, ideally. Speaking of which, the songs would be fine on their own, but like I mentioned, I do believe it would have had a better chance if they kept the style a bit more classical instead of integrating all the modern instruments, especially the auto-tune. They had something good. They still keep the idea of the classic instruments of the different places from which these people come from, and which is good. But then they immediately try to be more pop-like, and again with the auto-tune in order to parody the X Factor or America's Got Talent, as it's called. And it just kind of ruins that for me. Surprisingly, there were no songs outside of that. I guess they wanted to keep those focused. The subplot of Dragon Chen, yes, I'm gonna call him that. And the princess is interesting, but again, the segmentation of how the plot goes, I think works in its disadvantage. I don't even mind the fact that we don't know much about the character, because what's important is not so much their personality and everything, but more their plight, and the fact that it parallels the first movie. So, although, again, I still stand on the statement we did. It's hilarious that we technically now have an official bootleg Chinese version of the plot of the first movie. That's some irony. I guess we'll have to see how it gets resolved in the... Well, not gets resolved, but it gets continued in the next one. But that leaves the blood triangle. It feels undercooked, to be honest. It feels like they just wanted to put it there without any commitment. To me, it was within that simple. Either if you really want to have it, and gotta be honest, I wouldn't mind it if you did not have it in the first place, probably. But if you really want to have it be more consequential with one, Lee becoming actually the bad guy in that situation, which probably wouldn't have happened because considering how this movie wants to be more respectful towards the Chinese market, they really would have not transformed Lee into a bad guy, or B, make eventually Lucas the bad guy out of jealousy. But no, that it feels like it gets resolved right as it's about to happen. Again, I cannot stress it out. The pose and the placement in the room were identical to Rothbard. The movie was clearly trying to tell something at that moment.
I'm gonna be honest, I think you may have been looking into that one a little too much, given the overall intelligence of these movies here and there. And I'll admit, I do feel like having Lucas, of all people, become the bad guy out of jealousy would feel... Well, okay, you want to talk about stuff that would feel unearned? I feel like that would feel massively unearned, because this is Lucas, someone who's practically been a hero of the kingdom since movie 6, essentially. Well, okay, technically more so movie 7, but you get the point. It's like, well, that would be one drastic turnaround, and for such a thing that he actually seemed to be accepting of. Like,
okay,
now,
what I'm about to say doesn't really reflect Richard and Brian because it's clearly something beyond them. But narrative-wise, the premise is all there. Lucas was raised by a family of poor people, distanced from the normal life of the kingdom. Due to misunderstanding circumstances, had to live at least a bit of time outside in an ambient with complete isolation from a human contact, and when he came back to society, did not even want to meet his parents, non-stake for the person that he met and had cherished contact. And for a while after, he did not even want to meet her because he believed to not being on the same level as her. So the ideal premise for personality ready, ripe to be fractured again in the same way as Kylo Ren could have actually worked to me.
Oh boy.
But again, as I mentioned, this is clearly stuff that's beyond what Brian and Richard wanted to do, clearly. What I'm saying is that there is material for this lower triangle potentially to make it work, but they didn't. They just played super safe, and as such, it only serves to bloat the plot even further, much like the subplot of the previous movie, just in a less obnoxious way, to be honest. To conclude, for the dance sequence, if I had to judge my favorite of musical sequences, I would go to with the Russian ballet. I was kind of like also the African one, but again, the auto-tune is what really ruined this for me. The Bollywood Indian musical could have been good if, like he said, there was actually more choreography to it, but said it was just, the prince and the scullions, unfortunately, so there is that. And the Hispanic one was not really great, that's too much smoke out of 10. But yeah, that's it for me. Jova.
I will say this, yes, this movie still does have problems. Yes, it's still a Swan Princess movie, so when I compliment this movie, don't take it to mean like I'm giving it a standing ovation or anything. That being said, I will give it credit. This does feel like a legit attempt here. It is sadly missing out on the action that even movie 7 had with the sword fight at the end. But I'll say it, this is the best Swan Princess movie we've had since the original trilogy here and there. Like, the plot feels fine enough. Again, let me put it like this. I do acknowledge that they definitely could have done more with this plot. But I feel like it has just enough that it suffices. It's fine. It's the bare minimum, though. So, like, I do agree that the short... Yeah, like, this does feel definitely like a time where the short runtime did hurt the film in that sense here and there. That being said, as for what we've got here, the songs, they're good. I like them all. My favorite is probably Prince Lee's song that he sings when Lucas and Elise are dancing. And yeah, like,
that's clearly meant to be the song that pulls your heartstrings and all that shit. It's supposed to be the big emotional moment of the movie, so yeah.
Yeah, and I'll give it credit. The movie does feel... Honestly, I will say the movie does technically feel like it does earn its moments. Just enough, though. Like, just barely it manages to do it. And yeah, this movie does feel on a wavelength with the original trilogy here and there. Hell, Lord Rogers and Uberta actually get to be witty again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what black magic they pulled, but I got legit laughs out of them. Hell, even John Bob wasn't obnoxious here and there. Like, they used the characters in ways that it didn't feel like they just had to shoehorn them in for the action here and there. Like, how ironic is it that the best Swan Princess movie in a while is one that, well, doesn't have a big kingdom conspiracy conflict or some, shoehorned in action scenes or whatnot. Granted, again...
Jova, it's like bigger doesn't necessarily mean better or something.
True, yeah. Like, and I'll even give the America's Got Talent parody credit here. I feel like it does actually work in the context of the kingdom. Like, it's not like they have blatant electricity going on, and like Tio mentioned, they avoided mentioning stuff like cell phones here and there. And actually, it's done in a way where you don't have to know what they're basing it off of in order to get enjoyment out of it. Which was, again, major problems with stuff like the Hell's Kitchen or the People's Court here. I mean, I guess you could argue that you didn't need to know those ones either, but they were much more blatant ripoffs. Whereas this feels like it could pass for, a medieval contest or whatnot in the context of this kingdom here. Again, nothing amazing, but this is honestly... This feels like what we should have been going for. Which, I guess, to be fair, Swan Princess 4 kind of did as well. But I'm going to argue this one does it even better than that.
No, Swan Princess 4 was clearly such a... Oh, look, remember this from the first movie. This movie, at the very least, feels like it's trying to be its own thing, at least.
And yeah, I'm going to say it. This movie has the unique distinction of having it be that the spell is broken by giving up your true love. Like, normally in fairy tales, it's about finding your true love, kissing your true love here and there. Like, no, like, there's some legit heavy sacrifice that goes into breaking the curse of this one. And yeah, Lisa Chad for helping it go through. Mind you, that was because he realized, Lucas and Elise and all that. But still, kudos to the dude here. Like, okay, Lee's development isn't perfect, but he actually does feel like a character who does go through proper changes here and there. So kudos. And the love story between Mei Li and Chen... Okay, it's not the best done there. Like, there is a bit of a weak link, it's that. Oh, don't get me wrong, I can believe that those two are in love. It does feel a bit undercooked, though, at times. Again,
from this perspective, Jova, what do we know about Chen as a person?
Yeah, I was about to get to that. Yeah, I definitely can get that Mei Li loves Chen, but... we technically don't know a lot about how he came to be like that and what he was like before that, which, okay, I guess to be fair, one could argue that's not really the focus. However, there is the fact that there's a blatant two-parter aspect here, so I guess they're going to explain stuff in that. But yeah, okay, honestly though, looking at this movie on its own, Chen and Mei Li's relationship does feel half-baked. Like, I can believe they're in love, it's just that I feel like I don't know enough about these two together as a couple. And yet I will, Yeah, true. I guess it is to a point where their happy ending feels kind of like a bonus tacked on to Lucas and Elise's happy ending when you get down to it. I mean, granted, maybe we'll do more with it in the sequel, seeing as how that evil lady does seem to have something going on implied. But I digress.
I would love.
I wonder what her motivation is. Could she be related to them?
Surprisingly, she's not related to any of them, Dej.
Okay.
But trust me, I would love to talk about that lady, but can't do it now. Gotta wait for the next one.
The music is, like we mentioned, all around good, honestly, and the animation, like, yes, okay, there are still some quirks in there, but I am surprised to say that the animation, for the most part, doesn't make me gag. Oh, it's not amazing, and Sony could still clearly be giving this more money, but my god, the animation actually feels like it holds together for the most part.
It actually feels like a movie, and it actually feels like a movie, not a cheap GameCube project.
I know, right? Like, honestly, okay, like, if it weren't for the fact that Elise and Lucas were concepts, you could probably pretend that this is the sequel to, like, I'll be generous and say, you could argue, like, this is the sequel to Swan Princess 4. Except for the fact that all the aspects from the past movies are there. But, whatever, honestly. Like, again, I mean, honestly, it feels fitting that after all the despair that we got in the last movie with how drastically off course these movies were from what Swan Princess was, that we finally get the movie that does seem like it's bringing back the qualities, quote-unquote, of the franchise back to light.
But too bad we had to go through so much bridge burning to get here.
I will say this, kudos to those fans who stuck through all of that. Oh boy.
Yeah, because those 3 movies that we went through before this one, like
they were rough.
Like 6, 7, and 8 each have their own special trademark of bad, and 5 is no picnic either.
Like it really is one of those cases where you can make an argument of too little, too late at this point, because those 3 movies really burned so much goodwill.
Well, apparently this movie managed to bring it back, seeing as how not only was a movie released. Wait, was it released the following year, or was it released in 2021?
Yeah, 2020. Yeah.
Well, remember, Joe, but these movies have been on a yearly production schedule for a while now, so it's not surprising
there wasn't one in 2021, though.
Right, you can make an argument that because of COVID, stuff had to be delayed.
You see, Dweebs, the Kingdom of Corona sabotaged the making of the movie, so it had to be delayed. But yeah, I mean, this is actually a decent film, which by Swan Princess standards is nothing short of amazing. Like, we're back, folks, to the qualities of the original films.
Hooray.
Now, can we stay there and, get better?
Also, can you repeat us, Jova, because I know you mentioned before, what is your, favorite of the musical? Sorry.
Prince Lee's song that he sings when Lucas and Elise are dancing.
What about you, Dweebs? We see a question to the others. If you were to be the judge, what would be your favorite performance of the one demonstrated?
Come on, just pull your Simon Cowell again.
What do you mean by performance exactly?
Okay.
Of the ones showcased in the movie,
anyone that doesn't involve. I don't think the knife throwing one was my favorite one because I mean it's no more no less a guy really good at juggling and throwing really dangerous things like knives without hurting himself, and there was no auto tune in the case of one song, or just plain generic in the case of the other.
This is like that Simpsons episode where there's movie competition and Homer is the only one that votes for Hans Moleman's movie.
Yeah, yeah. I can imagine this world's equivalent of it. This guy's productions presents man getting hit by knife. That would be very fun, would it?
All right, Pedro.
Okay, like I said, okay. Yeah, I do appreciate the fact that wow, for once a Swan Princess movie that actually has a plot that's fairy tale in nature. Ruber thought that this fairy tale franchise would have a fairy tale like plot. Specifically, that's like the one thing that I would at least appreciate the Mei Li and Shen plot. It brings back the fairy tale element. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, see how hard was that?
Who knows? Maybe this means that this marathon will have a happy ending.
Well, we'll see. That being said, yeah, like, and I do enjoy the songs for the most part as well. Like, so yeah, nice. And like I said, there's a bigger commitment to the musical style that defined the original trilogy. So, nice to see that at least. That being said, this movie feels very undercooked in general. Like for example, I feel like Elise starts having potential feelings for Lee a bit too fast. Like they play harp together, and suddenly now there's not even a friend period in between. She jumps straight into.
But Pedro, we played the harp together.
I know, but that's not.
They touched hands among the strings, Pedro.
See, Pedro, we held hands, and now we're basically married.
That's fanfic writing. That's not proper relationship writing.
Oh, he touched my hand. Guess that means I have to marry him.
It goes by too fast. And like I said, I feel like... Okay, let me put it this way. I feel like it's one of those cases where I guess that the bigger problem is that earlier scene with Lucas and Elise. Like if they properly just had them be friends and nothing else at the beginning, and then maybe that would have been better. But no, that first scene clearly is trying to tell us that Elise has a crush on him already. So to go from that to immediately having her now have another crush on Lee feels very no, like you can't, like don't portray your character like this. It makes her come across as incredibly fickle, like this is olive oil level of fickle. Like, so it just doesn't work for me. And so the whole love triangle feels very...
You just reminded me of the fact that Sony canceled their Popeye movie.
Again, the Tartakovsky one.
Thank you. I'm sad now again. But anyway, where was I? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As a result, the love triangle feels weirdly constructed. And like I said, you have to be very careful when you write a plot like this.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't careful. They have Elise ping pong between the two at random. They have and like I said, Lee will be better developed in the next movie. I can tell you that, because in this one I feel like he has his moments. Don't get me wrong. Like the whole, like an emperor who can't abide ridicule cannot abide the throne. That's a good line. He has his moments, but trust me, like he'll have a much better writing in the next movie, at least.
If I may ask, Benjamin, without spoiling, would you say that these two movies feel like they're two halves of the same plot, so when combined together they make more of a coherent story?
Not really, because the next movie goes back to barely having songs. It's just like one of those cases where it feels like they couldn't finish this entire... You know what this feels like? It feels like they wrote this entire movie and then they realized, oh shit, we forgot to resolve the whole thing with the kingdom and the evil wizard. Let's just do it in the next movie, and we could just put it to be continued. The to be continued bit, like Theo noticed, feels a bit like it was just thrown in there because whatever, we'll resolve this crap in the next one.
That's what I was asking. Like, well, do the two movies feel like, they're two components of a movie that was originally...
No. It doesn't. It feels like a movie that was made because we still have this stuff to resolve. So it doesn't really like it's not akin to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It doesn't feel like a story that's divided in two movies. It feels like a movie that's basically tying up the loose ends the previous one left open. That's what it feels like.
It's kind of like if an author wrote a book, but then realized that they needed to add one more chapter, so they added a tiny little pamphlet that contains the last chapter and zip tied it to the book. Is that what you were going for?
Sure, if that helps you. The basic point is, yeah, that love triangle wasn't particularly good, and like I said, the songs are fine. I'm still not entirely okay with the X Factor references, but I guess it's at the very least more downplayed compared to previous movies, so there's that. And yeah, the Lee made that well, I do appreciate the Lee and the Mei Lee and Chen plot for bringing back the fairy tale nature of the franchise. It's so undercooked. It feels like it was just thrown in there because Chen is just there to be the goal, Mei Lee's goal, and Mei Lee is just a sad princess who's trying to save her boyfriend, and that's literally the only thing that defines them. There's literally nothing to these two. They're just they really feel the most undercooked. And Odette and Dereck are there. They try to help. They didn't really help much, but they tried, I guess. Yeah, that's another thing, by the way. Dereck and Odette aren't really as much the focus in this movie, so it does feel like
I mentioned, I feel like they balanced out Dereck and Odette stuff with Lucas and Elise's stuff here and there. Like, Dereck and Odette were more tied to the Chen and Mei Ling plot, where Lucas and Elise were more tied to the competition and Prince Lee plot.
Yeah. The basic point is that, yeah, this movie feels basically like on the level of 2 and 3. Okay, not 2 and 3, because those movies are really bad, even way worse than the first movie. Yeah, it feels probably like the best Swan Princess movie since the first one, which is not saying much because these movies have gotten progressively worse with each installment for a good while. So, but yeah, there you go, Rich. Congratulations, you've managed to go back to your usual mediocre. It's like this guy can never go beyond the mediocre aspect. Like Alpha and Omega 1, Swan Princess 1. Yeah, that's basically seems to be the best he can do.
It's like I mentioned, he never seems to have recovered ever since Black Cauldron. Like, that movie just did a big number on him, I guess.
So yeah, it's mediocre, but considering what we had up until this point, yeah, I guess it's technically a big improvement. So I guess I shouldn't be too harsh.
One more to go, folks.
That being said, yes, we have. Well, obviously, we're all in the edge of our seats to see what happens next.
We're going to the end game.
Yes, everybody. Tune in next time where we finally put this franchise to rest, at least until 11 comes out. Swan Princess, The Royal Wedding.
Yeah.
See you then.
There you go.
That was.
And guess what?
Oh, yes.
And guess what? Lucas and Elise aren't even in the next movie.